Good morning. It's lovely to be with you for the first assembly that I'm doing with my family, my wife Rachel, my son Samuel, who's 6, and Charlotte, who's 2, from our house, as we're not able to be with you in person. It can be rather strange. I'm sure it is for you, being at school at the moment, and it's strange for people who are at home and nobody quite knows what's going on. But in today's assembly, we're going to think a little bit about that and also remind ourselves of the Easter story. But because things are a little bit strange, it's always good to have songs that we know and we love, particularly when they remind us that God holds us in his hands. I'm sure you know the one we're talking about. So let's all stand up where you are, join in the action, sing nice and loudly. Our God is a great big God. 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 Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hand. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hand. He's higher than a skyscraper, and he's deeper than a submarine. He's wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. And he's known me and he's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hand. He's higher than a skyscraper, and he's deeper than a submarine. He's wider than the universe and beyond my wildest dreams. And he's known me and he's loved me since before the world began. How wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hand. Last time. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and he holds us in his hand. Brilliant. Well done, everyone. In today's story, we're going to hear about somebody who is standing on the edge of everything. I wonder, do you sometimes feel like you're on the edge? Maybe when you're watching a football pitch from the sidelines, or maybe you are on the edge of the playground, watching everything that's going on, or the edge of a party, or just watching the world go by. Well, in today's story, there's a soldier who is standing on the edge and watching everything that happens to Jesus in his final days. We're going to hear his story read by Rachel, my wife. Now, the soldier's story.
A soldier's story. The soldier stood back while his friends mocked and made fun of Jesus. The soldier shook his head. It didn't seem right somehow. The other soldiers hit Jesus. They put a purple robe round his shoulders and pressed a rough crown onto his head. It was made of prickly thorns. "This can't be right," murmured the soldier. "This man Jesus, he hasn't harmed anyone. They say he's a good man, a teacher, someone who talks about God, someone who cares about the poor. They even say he makes blind men see and lame men walk." And he shook his head sadly. "What we're doing to him now, it can't be right." The soldier watched as Jesus was taken to the Roman governor, Pilate, to be tried. Pilate asked Jesus lots of questions and then called to the crowd. "I can't find anything wrong with this man. What do you want me to do with him?" The crowd didn't like Jesus, so they shouted, "Crucify him! Let him die!" "Why?" asked Pilate. "What crime has he committed?" But the crowd just shouted all the louder, "Kill him! Crucify him!" Why? Pilate shouted back. Tell me why you want him to die. Because he says he is God's son, they yelled. Kill him? Said the soldier to himself, shaking his head. That can't be right. The other soldiers made Jesus carry his heavy cross through the streets to the hill outside the city wall. There they nailed his hands and feet to the cross and left him there to die in the hot sun. Father, forgive them, Jesus prayed. They don't understand what they're doing. At last Jesus died. The sky went dark and the earth shook. What on earth is happening? Muttered the soldier to himself. I don't understand all of this, but I know something is just not right. He shook his head in disbelief. Jesus' friends were heartbroken. They took his body down and wrapped it carefully in a linen cloth. Then they laid it in a tomb, a rough cave in a garden. The entrance to the cave was sealed with a huge, heavy stone. The friends walked home with sad hearts. It seemed like the end of everything. The soldier watched from a distance, and then he took his place guarding the tomb. He leaned onto the heavy stone and gave it a shove. Nothing. It wouldn't move a millimetre. At least he can rest in peace, he said to himself, and settle down for the night. And for 2 whole nights, everything was peaceful for the guards at the tomb. When the sun rose on the 3rd day, the soldier rubbed his sleepy eyes and then jumped up in amazement. The stone! It had gone. It had rolled away. The soldier peered into the tomb. The body had gone. It had disappeared. This can't be right, the soldier cried as he backed away from the tomb, shaking his head. When he looked back, he saw 2 shining figures moving around inside the tomb. This can't be right, he gasped. The tomb was definitely empty. Who are they? What are they? Could they be angels? Then he noticed a woman crying by the tomb. Why are you crying? Asked one of the angels. Jesus has been taken away, she sobbed, and I don't know where he is. Why are you looking in a graveyard for someone who is alive? Came the reply. Hiding nearby, the soldier gasped. Jesus? Alive? Then the soldier heard another voice. So did the woman. She heard her name. Mary? The soldier watched as Mary recognised the voice. Master, she cried, running to meet Jesus. Stop. Don't touch me, said Jesus, but go back and tell the others that I've come back to life, just as I said I would. The soldier couldn't believe his eyes. Then he remembered what the crowd had said. He says he is God's son. It couldn't be right, could it? Could Jesus really be God's son? But I've seen it with my own eyes. He is alive, said the soldier to himself. And after that, many, many people saw Jesus alive again, and many believed he really was God's own son.
Great, thank you. The soldier really didn't understand why Jesus was being treated so badly when he hadn't done anything wrong. It wasn't until he saw Jesus alive again that he started to understand. In our story, the soldier wasn't happy at the bad things that were happening to Jesus. Just how sometimes we might be happy about some of the stuff that's going on in our lives. In his heart, he knew it wasn't right. I wonder, can you close your eyes for a moment now and think about something that you feel isn't right at the moment? Maybe it's something that people are doing, or the situation in the world or in your family. Now I'm going to say a prayer, and if you want to make it your prayer, say Amen at the end after me. Dear God, when our hearts tell us that something isn't right, help us to know what to do about it. Help us to talk to people who care. And help us to remember that you always hold us in your hands And that just as Jesus went through the sad time, so a great new happy resurrection time is coming too. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. We're going to sing another song now. It's one that tells all the story of Jesus, the Lord of the dance. You might know the chorus really well. Dance then wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he. So do join in. The words your teachers may well have for you on the screen, but you can at least join in the chorus. Do stand up where you are. You can even dance around in the chorus depending on if there's space and if that's okay. And we'll sing together.
I danced in the morning when the world was begun, and I danced in the moon and the stars and the sun, and I came down from heaven and I danced on the earth, and Bethlehem I had my birth. Dance then wherever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you on wherever you may be, and I'll lead you on in the dance, said he. I danced for the scribe and the Pharisee, but they wouldn't dance and they wouldn't follow me. I danced for the fishermen, for James and John. They came with me and the dance went on. Dance then wherever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you on wherever you may be, and I'll lead you on in the dance, said he. I danced on the Sabbath and I cured the lame. The holy people said it was a shame. They whipped and they stripped and they hung me on high and left me there on the cross to die. Dance then wherever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you on wherever you may be, and I'll lead you on in the dance, said he. I danced on a Friday when the sky turned black. It's hard to dance with the devil on your back. They buried my body and they thought I'd gone, but I am the dance and I still go on. Dance then wherever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you on wherever you may be, and I'll lead you on in the dance, said he. They cut me down and I leapt up high. I am the life that will never, never die. I'll live in you if you live in me. I am the Lord of the dance, said he. Dance then wherever you may be. I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you on wherever you may be, and I'll lead you on in the dance, said he.
Well, it's been lovely to be able to share this time with you today. Hopefully after the Easter holidays, I'll be back, hopefully coming into school in the not too distant future. But if I can't get into school, then we'll be sending you some assemblies anyway. So just as you go out today, remember that even through the sad times, there is a resurrection hope. That's the Easter story. That even if you're feeling like you're on the edge of things, that God is standing with you and encouraging you about how to get involved. Maybe you can think about more of that with your teachers through the rest of this week. And I'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.